This is CityCast Seattle. I'm Jane C. Hu, and here's what Seattle's talking about. Hey, y'all, congrats. We have finally hit the era of 8 p.m. sunsets in Seattle. And today we are talking about a bunch of different things. A policy change that threatens the future of Seattle's co-op preschool program, the state of women's sports in Seattle, and of course, our weekend recs. Plus, CityCast Seattle neighbors are now getting this special bonus segment every Friday. This is a brand new benefit, and we're really excited to get into it because we know that our CityCast neighbors are the ones who really, really want to dig in and get into the nitty-gritty of Seattle. So if you want access to that bonus content, hit pause right now, and you can go sign up as a neighbor at membership.citycast.fm/Seattle. There's also a link in the show notes to make it easier for you. It's $10 a month or $100 a year. And if you join right now, you get this special Seattle Oxford pennant. It's really pretty. It's got like a little image of Tahoma or Mount Rainier. It'll look great on your wall. And if you joined us our last membership drive, those folks are getting a print of Seattle neighborhoods. And that should be in the mail, thanks to Ben Keenan for spending a few hours at the UPS store earlier this week to get those to you guys. Now, on to today's show. Educators and parents are ringing the alarm on Seattle's co-op preschool program, which is currently under threat. Joining me to talk about this is Dr. Jarman Leitner, a parent educator and developmental psychologist. Welcome, Dr. Leitner.
Yes, thank you, Jane. I'm so excited to be here to talk about what's going on.
First, what is a co-op preschool for those who aren't familiar?
So, yes, co-ops use more of a cost-sharing model when it comes to the parents being the ones who are contributing, like the labor. They're the ones who do the cleaning. They serve on the board. Co-ops are also nonprofits. So there is a board to run the preschool. And this helps to keep the cost down to have your children enrolled in a co-op.
So for those co-op preschools, right, you said parents definitely have a hand here. As I understand it, parents will often trade off responsibilities in like who is leading class that day, for instance.
Yes, that is a part of the model. So depending on how many days a week the co-op meets, there's one day a week where each parent has what's called a work day. And they have work jobs, and then they'll rotate those jobs. And then those other days where the classroom meets is a drop-off day. So everybody has an opportunity to drop off, but also work in the classroom or work different stations, whether it's dramatic play or the art area or the sensory area. Everybody shares that, everybody has their hands in a work job on a weekly basis.
So what is your role in the system?
Yes, so I am a parent educator over at North Seattle as well as Edmonds College. So what we do is we go in and we support the teachers as well as the parents in the classroom. We observe behaviors, we provide lectures on parent education topics, and we serve as advisors to the board. Every child is different. And it's also, for parents to gain support. I mean, we have some parents where their stories are, they've dealt with postpartum depression or postpartum anxiety. And it was parent education, their parent educator who helped them through that, and just from my perspective, healthy families make pathways for healthy communities.
And how many Seattleites are participating in these programs?
In the Seattle area, it's a little over 2,000 families, and that's not counting them individually. That's counting them as a unit. Across the state, over 4,500 families are being impacted by this change. So this is a huge loss if this program goes away.
Right. So this all stems from a new policy change from the Washington State Board of Community and Technical Colleges. So it's leading to this entire program being under threat. What exactly has changed? It's a little wonky, so I want to make this clear for folks.
Yeah, it is. And trust me, our parent educators, our parents, community, I mean, we are in this together, and we've been trying to really nail down really what's been happening. The state board decided recently to reallocate what is considered a student when it comes to how they allocate their funds, okay, for community college education. So when they made this change, it basically kicked parent education students out of that classification. So they are no longer considered students according to this new change that the Washington State Board approved of. They declassified them as students, meaning that they're not earning credits. And historically, parent education students only had to pay a portion of that, a very minimal portion, 1 credit out of the 2 credits, and then the colleges covered all that. Well, that is going away as well. So that would put a lot of financial burden on many families who were looking for a more affordable way to have early learning for their children and be involved. So as of June 30th, that's going away. That change has been approved. And unless we as a community raise $2 million for North Seattle and South Seattle by May 14th, the program will end.
Do we have any sense for why this change was made? Like, was this an intentional effort?
Legislators didn't even realize that parent education was a part of this change. So this was something that stemmed back, a little bit after COVID is when the state board and college leadership started thinking about making changes. So this is something that has been in the works for a while, and it was approved back in 2025. But as our organization to Save Parent Education, as we've been reaching out to local legislation, we have Representative Jerry Pollitt, who is supportive of it, Senator Rebecca Saldana, even Mayor Katie Wilson. The senator and the representative, they're like, we had no idea that this included parent education. Like, we didn't realize, that wasn't really made clear that this program was going to go away. So,
gotcha.
Yeah.
So now that they know that, is there any chance that things could get changed in time for this to be reversed?
Well, that's the hard part, Jane. It's really hard to, once something has been approved, it's really hard to go back and undo that. So there are a couple of solutions, but they're not necessarily easy solutions. So, of course, if we could get the governor involved, if we could get the governor backing us to call a special session, to reconvene, and then there's enough votes. Another thing, the SBCTC, they could decide to hold off. They could just say, let's not include parent education, because not only does it include parent education, but there are programs for international students and other continuing education programs that are going to be affected. But parent ed has the largest population of students who are going to be impacted by this.
Gotcha. And that's the state board that you're talking about.
That's the state board. Yes.
Yes.
And then again, to survive this crisis, basically, we have to raise the funding. That's the only way that we're going to be able to sustain through the year.
Dr. Jarman-Leitner, if people do want to learn more about this effort to fundraise or to, get more attention from our lawmakers to try and do something about this decision, where can they find more?
So we have an Instagram page. You can follow us on @ParentEdSeattle. We do have a move-a-thon that's coming up on April 25th at Green Lake Park, starting at 10 a.m. And you can pledge there a donation for moving around the lake and exercising and being a part of the community.
Thank you so much, Dr. Leitner, for joining us today.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
Let's take a break, and when we return, we're going to talk about women's sports in Seattle. Hey, Liam, have you ever been to the Washington State Spring Fair?
Hey, Jane, I haven't, but I'm looking at the website and it looks pretty fun.
Are your kids into seeing animals?
Oh my God. The constant debate in this house is what's the best animal.
What about carnival games?
Yeah, I think they could be convinced.
What about festival rides?
Oh, yeah, I want to do that.
And, okay, my favorite, eating too much funnel cake.
Oh, I'm already doing that.
I'm also super excited that they're doing a monster truck rally and a demo derby.
Wow, that's extremely you.
So if you want to pop down to Puyallup the weekend of April 10th to 12th or 17th to 19th, you can get your tickets at www.thefair.com. And kids under 5 are always free, so you can bring the whole family. When I first moved to Seattle, Town Hall was my lifeline to the city. I went to book talks, panels with interesting local thinkers, and even a concert. If you're looking for something fun to do or to learn something new, you'll find something going on nearly every night of the week with events spanning civics, science, and arts and culture. Town Hall is a nonprofit with a mission to amplify ideas, foster civil discourse, and connect people through events. And what I love most about Town Hall is that their events are produced by and for the community. Tickets to most events are offered on a sliding scale with free tickets for people under 22. And if you haven't been, they're located in a vibrant historic building on First Hill. And on Saturday, April 18th, author Maria Semple discusses her new novel with Jeopardy champ and host Ken Jennings. You can get tickets and view the full calendar of events at townhallseattle.org. Everyone watches women's sports. And lucky for us here in Seattle, we are a boomtown for amazing teams. Joining us to talk about the latest is Maggie Mertens, author of Better, Faster, Farther, How Running Changed Everything We Know About Women, and host of The Forecast, Seattle's weekly women's sports show on KVRU 105.7 FM. Welcome, Maggie.
Thank you so much for having me, Jane.
And we also have Marcus Harrison Green, founder of the South Seattle Emerald and Hinton Publishing and host of the podcast In the Meanwhile. Welcome back, Marcus.
Always a pleasure, Jane.
Maggie, why is your show called The Forecast?
The answer is in the name of our professional women's sports teams, which are called The Rain, The Storm, and The Torrent. So we got a little cheeky with our title there in terms of, if you're following a team that is named after the weather, I know The Rain is a different spelling, but still, listen to The Forecast.
I love that. And part of me is like, when the Torrent came to town, were they just kind of like, well, we have to?
People were really conflicted about the name The Torrent. I really like it because it kind of fits the theme. There were actually a lot of people who were hoping that team was going to be called the Seattle Freeze.
I was one of those people, but now that it's called The Torrent, I'm like, that's pretty good. And they really have like incorporated it into the team brand. Like if you've been to a game and you see all of the slick graphics around the torrent gathering steam, before the game, it really does get you hyped. And I kind of love the vibe.
Yeah, it feels really applicable, right, to Seattle and what makes Seattle Seattle and, tying into nature and all of that.
Yeah, if we get a fourth women's team, like a professional flag football, do you think they'll be the Freeze, or what will the next name be?
What else can we have?
I feel like you could be the Drizzle, but it would be kind of a weak name, like not very intimidating.
Right. Fear the Drizzle.
Big Dark. It could be the Big Dark.
There we go. The Big Dark is pretty good.
Scary.
No.
Yes. So, okay, I feel like the team that maybe has a lot going on right now is the Storm. I know that there have been some big trades. There's some new coaches in the mix. Maggie, catch us up on what's going on with the team.
Oh my gosh, there is so much going on with the Storm right now. This has been a huge week. For those that don't know, the WNBA went through a huge collective bargaining agreement this year. So they were all due to, have new contracts. They finally are, making a bit more money. Salaries went up, salary caps for teams went up. But one thing that was happening because of that was that a lot of veteran players had contracts that came up this year. So basically like 80% of the league was a free agent. And that has never happened before. The WNBA pretty traditionally hasn't done a ton of team switching. Here in Seattle, we had for the last couple of years, Skylar Diggins, Nneka Agumake, Gabby Williams were kind of our big three veterans. They have all signed elsewhere. Last weekend was really, really stressful watching all of our veterans leave the Storm. And then it kind of became, okay, well then who are they going to replace with? So they had 2 first-round draft picks, which was pretty incredible. But then they pulled this really crazy magic trick and sort of ended up with 3 first-round draft picks.
Oh.
It was a shock. We went and actually, for the forecast, we were recording over at Rough and Tumble in Columbia City. They had a big draft watch party. And it was crazy because the Storm had, they've been kind of signing some veterans that were not super exciting, a little bit lackluster. And that left our fam, who is this incredible, tall center from Spain, a teenager.
Yeah.
We drafted her, number 3.
And she supposedly has the highest ceiling. I was reading with some of the talking heads were saying that she supposedly has the highest ceiling of any player who was in the draft.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Well, and if that's sounding familiar, it's because last year the Storm drafted Dominique Malonga, who is a very similar player, also
ceiling in
a
that draft as
European
well.
teenager who's a center, who's very tall. So then we come around to the number 14 pick, which is the last pick of the first round, and there's still a lot of really great options on the table. And the Storm picked Taina Mayer, who is a point guard, but from Duke, who was not even expected to go in the first round. She wasn't even at the draft, right? So this is a very unexpected pick. Everybody was very shocked. They didn't even, we didn't even get to hear the interview with her because she wasn't there.
How much booing was there at Rough and Tumble
at that time? It was just shock. It was like silence. Everyone was like, what? Who is this person? I think there was a lot of getting your phones out.
Yes. My dad was throwing up middle fingers at the screen when he was like, he also just hates Duke.
It's hard.
Anyway.
It's hard. I'm kind of an old school Duke hater, but they have Carol Lawson is coaching there now, and she has built a really amazing program. And so this is part, I think, also of a sign of what the Storm is trying to do, right? Is build a team that's not like, okay, we have 5 number 1 draft picks, which is, the old style of Storm victory. But we're going to build a team that works really well as a team that we can grow together. And, that's so exciting. That's a completely different type of basketball.
I mean, also just in the bigger picture, the fact that many people showed up to watch the WNBA draft, I feel like is this amazing shift that I'm feeling in Seattle, but also other places. And the fact that we've got all of these great women's sports bars popping up. I also love Pitch the Baby.
Same.
Hung out there one night when I think the Olympics were going on, and just good vibes all around.
Yes.
So I feel like, okay, so the Storm is definitely rebuilding. I feel like fans are along for the ride.
I do not mean to interrupt you, but I think
there was one more surprise.
Maggie, you're bearing the lead, I think, about this draft.
There's one more big Storm thing.
And for those who don't care about sports, we not only got a wonderful immigrant from Spain, it's very woke Seattle, but we've added to the Black population of Seattle after this draft by 1.
Well,
so
more than 1.
Hell yeah.
There's a few.
Okay. Fair enough.
An incredible. So, in a very big surprise, basically, the Storm had the 14th pick, picked Taina Mayer. They also had the 16th pick. So everyone was like, okay, well, who are you going to go for 16? What's the plan here? This makes no sense. Well, 1 minute later, they made an announcement at the draft that we had traded the number 16 pick, so Marta Suarez, for a Golden Valkyries number 8 pick, who was Flau'jae Johnson, who is an incredible point guard, was definitely one of the folks that people really had their eyes on as a big superstar. She has these adorable tiny little brothers too. She's from Georgia. She has these tiny little brothers who are 3 and 4, and they were in their little suits and wearing their
Georgia the state or Georgia the country?
Georgia.
Thank you for that clarification.
Georgia the state. She is a small town Southern Black girl who also is a very good rapper.
This is B. Rucy's in here.
She wants to win a championship and a Grammy, she said.
She's
So
just
wow.
this type of person who's incredible.
There's like it's like a new EGOT version.
Yeah.
It's like
And,
WNBA championship and Grammy.
she has got so much swag too. They were asking her about, do you have like rhymes with Storm in it? And she said she's gonna work it. She's gonna work it out.
Yeah.
So we as fans have something to look forward to in that sense. And
You
really
do.
I love that.
You really do. It's actually a very exciting team right now. And there's still, since those are all rookies really, and we haven't really made a big veteran hire yet, there's still some unsigned pros out there that I think could be really good additions. There's still some salary cap room. So we will see
Absolutely.
what else happens.
Yeah.
But it's going to be exciting.
So I
New
feel
era.
like the Storm has this established fan base. I feel like the Reign has a really established fan base too. We have seen a record number of people come out for the Torrent. What more niche teams should we be paying more attention to? Because I feel like those big ones, the ones that you say are part of the forecast a little bit.
Yes.
I feel like people know those. But what are the other ones that deserve more love?
Okay, well, first of all, do you know that we have a women's tackle football team?
I did not. Tell us about that. What are they called?
So the Seattle Majestics are part of the Women's National Football Association, and they play down in Kent. So it is a little bit, if you're on the south end, that is great for you.
Much love to the Kentro District, as they call it. these days.
Yes. We also have a couple of ultimate frisbee teams, one of which plays in Inner Bay. So that's like a little bit that's an interesting one.
I know your show, The Forecast, definitely talks about the Storm and the Reign and the Torrent. How in the world though? Like, I every day I have, of course, listened to CityCast, but after I'm done listening to this wonderful program, I turn on to, either KJR 93.3 FM or 710 ESPN, which is the AM, sports station. You would never know that there are women's sports in this freaking city. Like, why can't we get the two major, sports stations to ever even just mention anything about women's sports? I mean, like, look, I like the Mariners, I like the Seahawks, of course, but the Storm is the winningest franchise in our city's history. They have 4 championships. The Seahawks have 2. The Mariners have 0. The Kraken have 0. So, I mean, you would think.
I got one word for you, Marcus, and I'm going to let you guess what that word is. I think Maggie probably already knows it. They share the first letter.
I got you.
If
okay. Enough said.
I'm gonna leave listeners to chew on that a little bit. Because I think we all have some thoughts on what it could be. Whatever could it be?
What could it be? I mean, it's why I'm really excited to do this. There is a hole in the market, right? And I think there's so many women's sports fans in this city, not just women, but people who are following women's sports. And I want to give them a place to just catch up, right? Because I think sometimes you get into a sport too, like you might be a Reign fan because you're just a big soccer fan, but you don't know how to get into watching the Torrent, if you don't know anything about hockey. But there's just space for
what? We're going to have Ava Wood, who's known online as 365 Hockey Girl, is going to be on the pod next week. So if people are interested in getting into the Torrent, then I think we can talk about it then.
Yeah.
Let's take a break. And when we come back, let's talk about our weekend recommendations. If you're in Washington and you haven't tried King Harvest hummus yet, you're missing out on a locally made favorite. Since 1977, King Harvest Hummus has been making their small batch fresh hummus in Portland, Oregon. It's not like an average hummus. It's a thicker texture combined with bold flavors, and it creates raving fans after tasting it. Not surprising, since it's made local and fresh on the shelf. Some of our favorite flavors are roasted red pepper, jalapeno, sun-dried tomato, and of course, the classic. You can eat this healthy dip with chips, veggies, or add it to a sandwich or wrap. Or maybe you just want to eat it with a spoon. Most people buy more than one because once it's open, this healthy dip disappears fast. You've got to try it to love it. Don't miss out on expanding your snack experience with this locally made fresh dip, King Harvest Hummus. Simple, better, one dip at a time. You can find King Harvest in the refrigerated section at your local grocery store. Hey, it's Jane, host of CityCast Seattle, and I want to tell you about something we just added for our CityCast Seattle neighbors that I am genuinely excited about. Every Friday after the regular episode wraps, neighbors get access to an exclusive bonus segment and a special members-only ad-free feed. And I'm not just talking about filler content. I'm talking about the stuff that we all actually want to say that doesn't actually fit into the regular show. Recently, we talked about that high-rise in Denny Triangle with the plane in between two towers, and one of our neighbors wrote in to tell us about the background of the plane, which is incredible. So if you are one of those listeners who really wants to dig deeper into the city with me and the rest of the CityCast Seattle team, join us as a neighbor. You'll get the Friday bonus segment plus ad-free listening. You'll get invites to members-only events and a weekly preview of the best things happening around the city and more. It's $10 a month or $100 a year, and it goes directly to supporting this show and the team of locals that makes it happen every day. You can read more and become a CityCast Seattle neighbor at membership.citycast.fm/Seattle. Again, that's membership.citycast.fm/Seattle. And neighbors, I'll see you in the bonus segment this Friday. It's Friday again. Thank goodness. What are you guys doing this weekend?
Man, you know, Jane, I know this might sound strange from a 44-year-old straight black man, but I am going to stream the second weekend of Coachella because you know what? I know people were polarized about Justin Bieber's set at Coachella last weekend, where I think he was like pretty much doing karaoke from YouTube. But I will tell you, as somebody who also suffers from very bad social anxiety, similar to Justin Bieber, I just root for anybody who is still able to overcome, social anxiety and go out there and do anything, and if it just ends up being sing-along karaoke again, you know what? Hey, man, do your thing.
I saw this TikTok the other day that was talking about how Justin Bieber is like basically the closest we've gotten in culture so far to a real life Truman Show, in that he has been a celebrity since he was a child, and he has always been in the spotlight, even when he hasn't wanted to be. And I do have some sympathy for him as a person for not ever really having very much privacy to figure his stuff out. And someone had said that it felt like the show was kind of a retrospective of, his whole career so far. So anyway, I hope you have a great time watching that. That sounds fun.
I guess only one of us will be from that response. But okay,
I didn't even know you could stream it. I didn't know
you can stream it for free on YouTube.
Oh,
yes, starting
okay.
at 4 p.m. Pacific time.
Dang.
All right. Good to know.
Yeah.
Good to know. What about you, Maggie? What are you doing? You watching Justin Bieber? Or are you doing something else?
I didn't have Justin Bieber on my schedule currently. So on Friday night, the U.S. women's national team will be playing Japan in the third of the three friendlies that had been scheduled. They played in Seattle on Tuesday night, I was there. It was a very freaking cold and rainy. And they lost. So, at least we sat out in the rain and they lost.
Oh, no. 36,000 people, though. 36,000
yes,
people.
Did. They
awesome.
broke a Seattle record for a women's soccer game. But that's happening Friday. So Friday the 17th at 6 p.m. Pacific. So I will probably be watching that, and I will be warming up because apparently it's supposed to be sunny and fairly warm this weekend. And I was really, really cold from that soccer game, and I don't think I've warmed up yet. So.
Oh my gosh, yeah, Tuesday was a rough day to be outside for any amount of time.
Yeah,
so
I think Seattle should have gotten extra credit for their numbers because it was not pleasant.
Truly. And okay, I'm glad to hear that the forecast is supposed to be nice, because both of the things that I wanted to recommend for this weekend are pretty outside. So one is that Bikeworks is having their warehouse sale on Saturday. If you don't know Bikeworks, great nonprofit
Yes.
bike shop. Like they fix up and sell old bikes, but they also have like classes and workshops where you can go learn how to fix up your bike, which
cool.
I think is a great skill to be able to have. Also, if you all haven't heard about the Super Saunter, it is going to be this big, long walk from one side of Seattle to another. It's the full Super Saunter is going to be in May, but they're doing a little warm-up walk on Saturday. And I think it's supposed to be about 12 miles of walking. So if folks are interested in just going on a nice long walk, the Seattle Super Saunter is the account on Instagram you can look at for more. I just love the
Saunter
idea
away.
of just like walking around with strangers. It seems kind of fun.
Yeah. Better than being stuck in an elevator with him, I tell you.
Much
Or
better.
watching Justin Bieber, but that's just me. I don't know. No.
To each their own. To each their own.
This
Jen.
is true.
All right. That's all for today here at CityCast Seattle. Maggie Mertens, thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having me. This was a pleasure.
And Marcus Harrison Gray, and sorry for giving you so much grief about Biebs, but thank you for being here.
Hey, I felt like Jennifer Grey in the first Dirty Dancing. I had the time of my life, Jane. The time of my life.
All right. If you're a CityCast Seattle neighbor, stick around after the credits because we are talking about the most AI-proof jobs around. Make sure you're listening in your members only and ad-free feed. And I also just wanted to give big thanks to new members Ryan O and Susan H, who just joined us as CityCast Seattle neighbors yesterday. If you're not already a neighbor, you can sign up right now at the link in our show notes or by visiting membership.citycast.fm/Seattle. I'm your host, Jane C. Hu. Our executive producer is Ashley Smith. Our creative producers are Sam J. Leeds and Liam Billingham. Post-production this week was done by PJ Shahamat. Our audience development manager is Ben Keenan. Music is by Aaron Taylor Waldman, All the Kimonos, and Los Mocachetes with additional mixing by Tyler Lindgren. Our ad music is by Sven Lindvall and Sarah, the instrumentalist from Epidemic Sounds via Getty Images. And special thanks to Frankie Barnhill for producing this week. Until next week, see ya, Seattle. If you're enjoying the podcast, be sure to follow us on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen so you never miss an episode. Also, leave us a little review. It's really helpful. And tell your friends about us. You can also get more local news and events delivered right to your inbox by subscribing to our newsletter. Just go to seattle.citycast.fm. And you can find us on Instagram, Blue Sky, and TikTok at CityCast Seattle. And you can watch full episodes of this show on YouTube.